Regardless of whether you're providing services or actually manufacturing or selling some goods, setting up your price is the most important thing of your company, basically because this influences the profit itself. I know there's a lot of different models and a lot of different hypotheses that you can use to actually set up your price, but in my personal opinion, each business is different in one or another way, and you can only use those models as an example and actually how to go about setting up your price and actually how to adjust that particular model into your business. Now this spreadsheet, which is the last spreadsheet called the pricing, will actually give you some information about your prices, and it's been divided actually into 4 segments or 4 boxes. There's box number 1, box number 2, box number 3 and box number 4. Okay, so I'm gonna start with box number 3, or the segment number 3, section number 3, how you would like to call it, which is actually the value-based prototype. Now when we set up the price, the first thing that we consider is the cost. How much does something cost us to actually build, or the service to provide that particular service? According to that, we set up our price. The difference between the price and the cost is the actual profit margin. Of course, the bigger the price and the smaller the cost, the profit margin is larger, and therefore you actually get more money. Also, there's something that's called perceived value. Now, perceived value is very important. It actually shows what your customers or potential buyers think of your price and the quality of the goods and the services you're providing. Basically, it shows whether or not your goods or services have been priced correctly, meaning that it's actually worth the money you're asking for. Now, the gap between the price and the perceived value is very important. The bigger the gap, it actually means that you will be selling more of your goods or services or whatever you're working on. So basically your customers are thinking of your goods or services very highly, and yet your price is very small, so they're going to purchase a lot of your goods. Now having said that, that means that your margin for the profit will be lower. If you raise this price bar a bit closer to the perceived value, you will get more profit, meaning that if you keep the cost as it is and you just raise up the price closer to the perceived value, the margin between the price and the cost will be larger, and thus your profit will be larger, but the chances are you're going to sell less of your products at that particular price because it will be closer to the perceived value. Of course, if you have your cost over your price, if your cost is bigger, that's not good, and basically you're losing money. So the idea here is to get some feedback, if you like, from the customers, which is very valuable, to actually see where the perceived value is, so how much a person would actually pay for your products or services, and actually to set up your price accordingly so that the profit is still big enough and you're actually making still a decent amount of sales. Now if you actually raise up your price to come closer to the perceived value, you actually would expect less sales, but then again your price is big and basically it will cancel each other out. So basically, let's say for example iPhones, they are pretty expensive in comparison to other phones, and basically they're selling a bit less than some of the other phones which are a lot cheaper, but then their margin between the price and the cost is very big, and therefore they can actually make good profits each year. If your price is lower, so let's say that this line here is dropped a bit more down to the cost, and basically your profit is a lot less, but then again you would sell a lot more of your product because it's good value, and that's how you would make up for this low price and low profit. Basically there are two models. You can either sell a lot of stuff with a very minimal profit, or you can sell less stuff with a big profit, and you would actually come to the same thing. Now, like I said before, this actually depends on what kind of business you're running and what kind of service and goods you are providing. Okay, so let's have a look now at box number 1, where you have the substitutes and you have the complements. So basically what this box is showing here is, for example, if you're manufacturing, for example, mobile phones, here you would enter all the substitutes, all the other mobile phone companies. So for example, if your mobile company is called company A, you would list here company B, company C, company D, and everything else who also manufactures the same stuff as you, so for mobile phones. And here you would actually put the other equipment, the buyers and the users are most likely to actually purchase with the phone. So if we are talking about mobile phones, you can put mobile phone company A here, for example, and then in here you can put the cover for that mobile phone. Okay, so this gives you an idea of what your competitors are doing, so which brand of mobile phone it is and which complement or accessory they're selling together with this phone and how well it actually sells. This will give you the idea of how to go about setting your price, and of course you would actually know their price for the mobile phone and for that particular accessory, and you would know how to go about selling your phone with the accessory and how to go about selling your phone without the accessory. Let's go to box number 2 here, and here we have a table with 2 rows. So first of all we have intuitive and rational. For box number 2, the feedback from the customers you get is very crucial, and basically this is where you would enter that information. In the first box you would enter the information, so basically when your customers or future customers first have a look at your product, what do they think about it? Do they think it's high quality? Do they think it's low quality? Do they think it's very cheap? Do they think it's very expensive? Do they like it? Do they not like it? Is there something they like to change and stuff like that? And in the second column, which is the rational, so rational thinking, you will enter information after a while, so after a month or 2 or 3 months or a year that a person has been using your mobile phone, for example, and you will enter their opinion here. So for example, at first they might thought it was really good quality, but after some usage they can actually see that the, for example, screen is very low quality and that your phone is overpriced. And then you will come here, and once again your perceived value at that particular time will drop down, which means that this gap between your price and the perceived value will be very small, meaning that you would have to lower down your price or lower down your cost, or actually work out this table and this graph in order to have your perceived value a bit more higher, and then you will have your price and the cost. So basically here you will enter that information. Box number 1 here, you will enter the competitors and what else they're selling together with their products. So in my case it was the mobile phone and the case for the mobile phone, the cover and everything else. In the second box you will enter the information that you get from your customers, so their opinion, first when they start using the product and a bit later when they actually have more experience using your product. Okay, moving all the way to the right, we have the assortment, and we have 2, horizontal and vertical. So if you look all the way to the right, you'll find some information about all 3 boxes. And for box number 4, field number 4, it actually says field 4 will help you identify how broad a market you are targeting. So basically this is your market, okay, so who you are actually targeting. And this is also very important when you're setting up a price. So for example, if your target market is some wealthy people, so who have a lot of money, basically they do not care about the price, all they want is high quality good stuff. Therefore you can actually increase your price, and then your cost will increase as well, and this value will actually either increase or decrease, which is totally irrelevant because those people are only after good quality stuff. So basically all you have to do is just to make sure that with your competitors you're actually not overpricing your products. Okay, so this assortment field number 4 will actually help you see who you are targeting. So there's actually 2 different segments. There's the horizontal segment and the vertical segment. Now here it gives a bit more information about each of those segments. So horizontal assortment, or the segment as I called it, one way to expand your customer base is to offer multiple products and similar price points, catering for a range of tastes. Okay, so at this horizontal segment we're actually targeting the taste of our customers. Let me go back to that mobile phone example, and I can, for example, have 3 different mobile phones here, even though my company might be called mobile manufacturer company A. I have model A, model B and model C, which are similar but different when it comes to price. However, they will actually differ in, for example, the looks and everything else. So for example, in segment 1 I might have a mobile phone which is very good when it comes to using the camera, so the camera is very high quality. In the segment number 2 I might have a phone that's, for example, very good when it comes to, let's say, social applications or something like that. And in segment number 3 I can have a mobile phone which is good just for, you know, everyday usage. So this is basically showing who you are targeting. And in that example that I have given before with the wealthy people, so those 3 segments are very important. So what are the different mobile phones that I'm offering to those people? So once again, they want really good quality. So for example, segment 1 can be really good quality phone. Segment 2 is something, for example, if they want something to look very good, so very expensive, therefore I would make this segment 2 phone look very expensive. And the third one might actually be something that looks more like businessman or something like that, so something that actually meets their taste and likes. So this is the horizontal segment, and once again here you're setting up a different products with a pretty much similar prices, and this will actually show you who you are targeting. So you can work from here to work out your price, or you can work the other way around. You set up your price and then you actually have different models to target different groups of the people or the market. Then we come to the vertical assortment, and we have best, better and good. Let's have a look at the explanation here. It actually here says offering versions at multiple price points. While your most expensive model represents what your brand aspires to, customers will value features differently, and some who don't see the value in that high-end version might be willing to pay less for a stripped down model. And a good example here is also in mobile phones. So basically there's a mobile phone out there which offers the best camera, the best RAM memory, and it's really fast, and it offers, I call it the works, and it's very, very expensive. Okay, so let's, for example, for the argument, say that the price of that model is $1,000. You would put that particular model in here. So this is your best model. Then we come to a beta group, and this is for the people who are actually looking to spend a decent amount of money, but they do not want to spend a lot of money on the mobile phone, because after all it's just a mobile phone. They use it in everyday communication and everything else. And here you can actually put a mobile phone which has, for example, less memory, which has less megapixels in the camera, and probably something that's going to bring your cost down a lot, and therefore your price is going to go down, and your perceived value is actually most probably going to stay here at the same level, because you know, nowadays a lot of people are just paying for the looks and for the brand. And even though this particular model does not offer everything as this one does, it might look exactly the same, it might be even called the same, or just have, for example, there's a mobile phone out there which has all the full features, which is called something, and the beta version is just called light, which is, you know, a stripped down version with a camera that's not, for example, I don't know, 15 megapixels or something like that. And then we come to the good section, and here you're actually doing exactly the same as you done from the best to beta. Now you're doing from beta to good. Basically this stripped down model, which costs a bit less than the best, is actually reduced down to have a different price and to be a good model. Okay, so when you think about the prices, like I said, this one here might be $1,000, this one here might be $500, and this one here might be just $100. As this is very low money, but it still looks as good as the best version, people will sometimes actually pay, you know, $100 here rather than $1,000 here, and they will still have pretty much the same phone, which is going to be of course slower, and the memory is not going to be as much as it is here. The camera might be a bit less megapixels, and the whole quality of the product might be will actually be a lot smaller than the actual best price here. But in some cases, because people cannot afford the best model here, they're actually going to go and purchase this good or better quality model, and a lot of times you're going to get a lot more sales in the better and good section rather than in the best section. However, when you actually sell the best mobile phone, for example, the price margin is here expected to be the highest. So the idea here is to sell some of the best models, a lot of better, and most of good models. So you're making a lot of profit on a very small margin. So for this one here, you will make it, like, I would say 50-50. It's the price is not that big, meaning that the profit is not big, but then your sales are not going to be as much as for the good model, and this is, like it says, in the middle, and it's better. When it comes to best, you're making a lot of profit and you're selling a few of those mobile phones. Okay, so basically this information here will not provide any graphs or will not calculate the price you're actually supposed to charge your customers for the goods and services you're providing. Rather than that, it's actually here to represent and show you in a written and nicely represented form what you should consider when you're actually setting up your price and how you should actually look at a few different aspects. So to sum it up, for me the best and the crucial point here is that you know who you're targeting, so your target audiences. You need to know your cost price, that's a definite, and you need to know actually what your customers or future customers are actually thinking about your products. So first of all, whether they like it or not, and after usage, you know, sometimes in the shopping malls you actually have those mobile phones there. You can actually go and play around with it, and you can actually ask your customers as soon as they come and touch the model, what do you think about this mobile phone? And they might say, oh, it looks really good. And then you go through some of the applications and some of the technical aspects and everything else, and maybe after 10-15 minutes of actual engagement with them and talking, you can actually ask them, what do you think about our model now? And most of the times those two will differ, and that will actually give you some information how you can go about setting up your cost and your marketing of the product as well. So let me go back. So the most important things about setting up your prices are cost, the feedback from the customers, and these perceived values. So what do the customers actually think about the quality of the price? Okay, so let me highlight everything once more again. You need to know your target audience, you need to know your cost, you need to know your perceived value, you need to know what your competitors are doing, what else they are selling with their products, and you need to have that feedback from your customers. If you have all of those, you can actually go about setting up your prices and actually selling your products and service with the highest possible profit and making some good amounts of money.